The dark side of Barcelona's comeback nobody talks about sounds like a fairy tale on the surface because fans see packed stadiums again, young stars shining, and trophies slowly returning. But today, we are going deeper into the story that many supporters, media outlets, and even rival clubs whisper about quietly, because behind every highlight reel and emotional comeback montage, there are uncomfortable truths, difficult decisions, and risks that could define the club's future for decades. And before we dive in, tell me in the comments right now, do you believe Barcelona's comeback is real success or just a beautiful illusion? Because your opinion shapes this discussion. And while you are here, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss brutally honest football stories that most people are too afraid to talk about. Because the reality is, Barcelona's comeback began during one of the darkest financial periods in football history, a time when the club was drowning in massive debt, forced to sell assets, and under pressure from league regulations, which created a desperate environment where survival became more important than long-term stability. And although fans celebrated new signings and big announcements, the hidden side was the constant gamble on future income, meaning the club essentially borrowed tomorrow's success to survive today. And this decision created a dangerous cycle because every new signing, every new contract, and every financial move had to succeed immediately, otherwise the entire structure could collapse. And that pressure was felt not only by executives, but also by players who carried the emotional weight of representing a rebuilding giant under constant global scrutiny. And while young talents became symbols of hope, they were also thrown into high-pressure situations far earlier than most players their age, which raises the question, are these young stars being developed carefully, or are they being used as short-term solutions to maintain the illusion of progress? Because when teenagers become the face of a historic club overnight, the expectations become brutal. One bad performance can lead to worldwide criticism and mental pressure that few young athletes are prepared to handle. Yet fans often ignore this dark side because the excitement of discovering the next superstar is simply too strong. And as Barcelona pushed forward with its rebuild, another controversial element emerged, which was the constant balancing act between club identity and commercial expansion. Because in order to recover financially, the club explored new markets, new sponsorship strategies, and aggressive global marketing campaigns, especially in the United States, which created debates among traditional supporters who fear that the soul of the club could be slowly replaced by corporate ambition. And while global growth brings money and popularity, it also risks turning football heritage into entertainment products designed mainly for global audiences rather than loyal local fans who supported the club through decades of history. And another uncomfortable truth lies in the dressing room dynamics, because when a team rebuilds quickly through signings and youth promotions, the chemistry becomes fragile. Experienced players fight to keep leadership roles, while young talents demand playing time, and management must constantly make harsh decisions that can divide fans and players alike. And although media headlines focus on smiling celebrations and emotional wins, insiders often talk about tensions, competition for positions, and the silent pressure of proving that every transfer fee and salary is justified. And perhaps the most controversial part of Barcelona's comeback is the debate around financial creativity, because some fans see the club's economic strategies as genius innovation, while critics accuse them of gambling with the future through asset sales and complex deals that may limit flexibility for years. And if future revenue does not meet expectations, the club could face another financial storm, which makes every season feel like a high-stakes gamble rather than a stable sporting project. And this is why rival fans and neutral analysts remain skeptical, because they believe the comeback is built on risky foundations that require constant success to survive. Which leads to another dark reality, that success has become an obligation rather than a goal, meaning players and coaches operate under relentless pressure to win immediately, because failure is no longer just a bad season, it could become a financial disaster. And this intense environment can affect tactical decisions because coaches may avoid long-term rebuilding strategies in favor of short-term victories that keep sponsors and investors confident. And as fans, we often celebrate dramatic wins without realizing the enormous stress behind every match. match, where losing points is not only a sporting setback, but also a financial concern. And the emotional connection between supporters and the club also faces challenges, because during the rebuild, ticket prices, merchandise campaigns, and global branding strategies sometimes prioritize revenue over accessibility, leaving some lifelong fans feeling disconnected from the club they once considered a symbol of community and identity. And yet, despite all these dark aspects, the players continue to fight on the pitch, delivering passionate performances that remind the world why Barcelona remains one of the most beloved clubs in football history. And this contrast between inspiring football and complex off-field realities creates a fascinating but complicated narrative, because the comeback is both a story of resilience and a cautionary tale about modern football economics. And now I want you to pause for a second and drop a comment telling me which side you believe more. Do you see Barcelona as a heroic comeback story, or as a risky experiment that could collapse in the future? Because your comments help shape future videos. And if you are enjoying this deep dive, remember to like the video right now, because it tells the algorithm that you want more honest football analysis, and subscribe to the channel for weekly breakdowns that go beyond the surface and reveal the hidden stories behind the biggest clubs in the world.